TUGS Adventure. Story by Fiona Hardwick. Illustrations by the Countess Studio. Read by the new storyteller. Kidnapped. It was Sunshine's first season as part of the Starfleet, and he loved being part of the harbour team. He worked hard, doing his best to obtain sense in the other tugs. When there were spare moments between jobs, he listened to the others swap tales of their past adventures. "The old paddle steamers are so elegant," said O.J. "That's nothing compared to the luxury liners these days, my dears," Achilles joined in. "I remember the day the Duchess was launched. My word, what an honour it was to be part of a flotilla." Top Hat came over. "What's happening, chaps?" he asked. "O.J. and Hercules are telling me about paddle steamers and liners," said Sunshine. "They've had loads of exciting adventures. Haven't we all, dear boy, haven't we all?" interrupted Top Hat grandly. "I could tell you some stories." "Oh yes, please." Sunshine was waiting. Well, I can't seem to call anything in particular now. Another time, perhaps. Haven't we got a lot of work to do?" said Top Hat, changing the subject. O.J. grinned. "You're right there, Top Hat. That's enough tales for today, Sunshine. Let's get on." The tugs went off in different directions, carrying out the orders Captain Star had given them earlier. Warrior was shifting a cargo forward, so Sunshine took charge of Lord Stinker, the rubbish barge. It wasn't a very nice job, but someone had to do it. Normally Sunshine didn't mind doing himself the nasty jobs, but today, after listening to the others, he was discontented. "If only I could have an adventure," he sighed. "There's nothing very exciting about collecting the rubbish." Sunshine didn't notice that two Z-stacks behind the wall had overheard him. "So little Sunshine's bored, is he? What a pity," whispered one of them. "Let's give him an adventure he won't forget in a hurry." The two stacks bobbed up and down as the tugs rocked with wicked laughter. Sunshine had just finished the rubbish when suddenly he felt two tugs shove into the back of him. "Hey, watch it, fellas! What the? Help!" "Quiet," said one of the tugs in a menacing voice, "or we use this dynamite. There's enough here to blow a miserable little tug like you sky high." Sunshine was brave, but not that brave. He decided to cooperate. The tugs gave Sunshine instructions where to go, keeping behind him all the time. They travelled through parts of the harbour that Sunshine had never seen. Now it was dark, and Sunshine was lost. "Okay, turn left here," said one of the tugs. Sunshine saw he was in a dark and dingy shed that looked as if it hadn't been used for years. It was cold and dirty. Sunshine felt rather small and a little bit scared. The kidnappers tied him up. "Why have you brought me here?" he asked, trying to see the kidnappers. We have a devious plan," said one of the kidnappers, doing his best to sound convincing. Right, we have work to do. Don't get lonely, will you? Sniggered the other. The tugs left Sunshine all alone in the shed. Sunshine looked thoughtful. I must try to escape. He was securely moored to an old jetty. What can I use to free myself? He said. He noticed a piece of rusty metal sticking out of the water. It's worth a try, he said, maneuvering himself next to it. In the harbour, TNST was worried. Sunshine should have been back from doing the rubbish ages ago. Have you seen him, O.J.? No. Perhaps he's in trouble. I'll organize a search party. Good idea, O.J. Come on, TUGS. We've got to find Sunshine. Zoran steamed by. Problem, boys, he said gloatingly. You should keep that overgrown bath toy under control. Shut up, Zoran, and give us some help. For once, Zoran agreed and teamed up with Big Mac. No funny business, okay, Zoran? TNST and O.J. retraced Sunshine's route to the Municipal Waste Company to look for clues. But it was no good. Sunshine had completely disappeared. It's hopeless, sighed TNST. We'll have to go back and tell the captain. The tugs went slowly back to the Star Pier. TNST was just wondering what he could tell Captain Star when he heard a loud tooting. That's Sunshine, exclaimed TNST. Where have you been all this time? Sunshine was red-faced with all the excitement. Listen, I have just had an incredible adventure. I was kidnapped. What? Preposterous idea. Top Hat sniffed loudly. It's true. 2 enormous tugs crept up and kidnapped me. I fought like mad, but they threatened to blow me up with dynamite. They forced me to go to the far side of the harbour and tied me up in a creepy dark shed. So why are you here now? Asked Warrior, confused. Because I escaped. Those kidnappers didn't frighten me. As soon as they were busy, I cut myself free. By now, Zip and Zug were in the harbour. When they spotted Sunshine, they were very surprised. As Sunshine continued his story, they started looking guilty. But no one noticed except Zoran. So you got your adventure after all, Sunshine, said O.J. with a big smile. Yes, but who did it? Asked TNST. And why should anyone want to kidnap Sunshine? Suddenly, everyone had turned round and was looking at Zoran. Now come on, you lot. Of course it wasn't me. I even helped to look for the little troublemaker, didn't I? He's safe now. That's all that matters, said O.J. And I can't wait to tell that gossip scuttlebutt Pete. With a cheeky grin and a whistle, Sunshine set off for his mooring. Zip and Zug tried to sneak away before there were any more difficult questions. Too late, looking even nastier than usual, Zoran stopped them and said, You bungling idiots! See what happens when you try to do things on your own? I'm in charge round here. So listen, double dredger work for both of you, now. It's all your fault. It was your idea. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Zip and Zug argued bitterly all the way across to the dredger. Run aground. One day, Captain Zero called a meeting of the Z-Stacks. Right, you lot, he said. We're not doing enough business. so get out there and find it. I don't care how you did it." Zoran scowled angrily. "It's those rotten star tugs that are the problem. Bunch of creeps, the lot of them," he muttered to himself. Then he had a great idea. An evil grin spread across his face, and he looked around for someone to help him. "Come here, Zug," he shouted. "Yes, Zoran, what is it? Have you got a job for me?" said Zug, steaming up beside the head of the Z-Stacks. "Aren't we clever this morning?" sneered Zoran. "Listen carefully and do exactly what I tell you." Later, Zug found Big Mac in the harbour. He was very scared of the big tug and tried to sound calm as he said, Hold on, Big Mac. Captain Star says you must go to the disused docks and collect a coal barge urgently." Big Mac frowned, and Zug gulped nervously. Big Mac wasn't convinced. He said, "I'll telephone the captain on my way to check." But then he met Hercules, and somehow the telephone call was forgotten. "Oi, Sunshine," yelled Zoran later. "Big Mac needs some help at the disused docks. Can't think why he'd choose you." "Oh, right. I'd better report back to Captain Star first, though," said Sunshine. "Well, if you can't be bothered, I'll send one of my tugs down there," said Zoran. Zoran and Zug sniggered together. With Big Mac and Sunshine busy at the disused docks, those star tugs can't steal all our work, and we'll make the money instead, said Zoran. "Who's next?" asked Zug. "Shall I tell Warrior he's needed at the docks too?" "Warrior? That clumsy oaf?" hissed Zoran. "Oh no, we can leave him to mess things up for the star tugs on his own." Warrior was the clumsiest tug in the harbour. He tried to help, but when he was around, things had a habit of going wrong. Much later, Sunshine and Big Mac came into the harbour looking very angry. "Sorry, Captain, we were tricked. When I find that Zoran, I've told you before, Tugs. I'm captain here, and I give the orders." Sunshine hated letting the captain down. "Never mind this time, Sunshine," said Captain Star. "Remember, though, Lily Lightship needs an urgent oil delivery first thing tomorrow. She's very low, but she's got enough for tonight. She'll need it with this storm coming up." But out in the estuary, Lily was in big trouble. As the rough sea tossed her from side to side, her last drum of oil fell over and slithered into the sea. The oil left in a light burned away. Then there was darkness. "How terrible," said Lily. "What shall I do now?" The weather got worse. A huge freighter making its way up the estuary looked for Lily's light to guide her past the rocks. Desperately, Lily sounded a foghorn in warning, but the strong winds carried away the sound. The freighter slid onto the rocks with a horrible crunch and keeled over to one side, completely stuck. A little later, Zug saw the red light of distress signals in the sky. I better go and see what's wrong. Zug found the stranded freighter and sped back for help. Zoran, listen, he spluttered. There's a freighter in the estuary, stuck on the rocks, and Lily Lightship's gone out. Oh, yes. And I suppose the sea's turned pink, snarled Zoran. You can't fool me with that game. I thought of it, you little idiot, remember? No, it's the truth, really, pleaded poor Zug. Scram, I haven't got time for your stupid jokes. Zoran turned and went off in the opposite direction. Zug didn't know what to do. Then he spotted Warrior. Although he was clumsy, Warrior was also strong and very helpful. Warrior, began Zug. What is it, Zug? Even Warrior had heard about Big Mac and Sunshine, so he had no time for Z-Stacks. Look, you won't believe this. Probably not, snapped Warrior. Please, Warrior, this isn't a trick, honest. There's a freighter out there trapped on the rocks. I can't manage it, but I thought we could bring her in together. Warrior still looked very suspicious. I know he played that stupid trick. It was all Zoran's idea, and now he won't believe me. Please help rescue the freighter. It'll be your salvage. All right, Zug, I'll do it. But if this is another trick, you'll be sorry. Warrior and Zug set off together to find the freighter. She wasn't too badly damaged, but spending a night buffeting about on the treacherous rocks would destroy her. This is going to be tough, said Warrior. He revved his engine up to full power and pushed with all his strength to get the freighter off the rocks. Zug helped to steady her as she listed in the water. Hold on, Zug, while I connect the line, gasped Warrior. Slowly, very slowly, Warrior and Zug brought the freighter into the harbour, where she could dock before being taken to Lucky's yard in the morning. The Star Tugs gathered round to congratulate them. Well done, Warrior. You saved the day. Everyone was full of praise for Warrior, Captain Star included. Warrior beamed. Young Zughead did his bit too, he said, blushing modestly. Hearing Zug's name, Zoran pushed in. What do you think you're doing, helping the Star Tugs? But Zoran, I tried to tell you about the freighter. Oh, look out, Zoran, behind you, squealed Zug. I've told you once, no more tricks, you miserable little squirt. When Captain Zer is... Warrior had got too excited, and as he sped round the harbour, an enormous wave splashed over Zoran. His wheelhouse was completely waterlogged. Oh, I'm so sorry, grinned Warrior. And even Zug couldn't help joining in as they all laughed at Zoran. Nothing to declare. Big City Port was bustling as usual. Warrior was busy with Lord Stinker cleaning up the rubbish and Big Mac was unloading a car. Captain Star, the owner of the Star Pier, was giving orders and keeping an eye on everyone in the harbour. Keep to it, Star Tugs. Bruin knows the naval tug is coming at midday to check we're all present and correct. Oh no, not that pompous Blue Nose, complained Top Hat. Why is he coming? It's a security check, said O.J. 2 new top-secret Navy vessels are being docked here for a couple of days, so he's doing an inspection before they arrive. O.J. always knew what was going on. Out in the estuary, the customs launch saw a scruffy old freighter. He recognized an old enemy. "Ahoy there, Johnny Cuba," said the launch sternly. "I'm coming aboard. Just a routine search." Johnny Cuba was notorious for smuggling, and customs kept a close watch on him. "Go ahead. I've got nothing to declare." "You always say that," muttered the customs launch as he came alongside. But the launch could find nothing wrong. "So tell your friends I can have a tow, right?" sneered Johnny. "Make it snappy. I get fed up stuck here for hours." The launch noticed Sunshine nearby. "Can you give Johnny a tow, Sunshine?" That's tricky. We're all busy preparing for Blue Nose's inspection before those new ships arrive." Yes, interrupted the launch crossly. The whole operation was top secret, and now Sunshine had given it away. Johnny grinned slyly at this news. "I suppose you thought you'd find spies on board when you searched me," he said, sniggering. The lodge glared at Sunshine and turned sharply back towards the harbour. Johnny turned to face Sunshine. "Now, if you want to keep your stack intact, don't forget to tell your little pals about my tow." Sunshine was not going to be bullied. "You'll get a tow in one of us's feet, and not before," he said defiantly, and set off for Star Pier. Soon, Johnny saw Big Mac coming towards him. "You took your time," said Johnny rudely. "Get me towed in right now. I'm on another job," grunted Big Mac. "One of the others will be here soon." Johnny scowled. Later, O.J. came puffing and wheezing up the estuary. With all the extra work, he was tired and hot. "Come on, old-timer," called Johnny. "Or would you like me to give you a tow?" "I haven't got time for your stupid jokes," snapped O.J. Then 10 cents went by. "Sunshine told me you need a tow. I'll be back in a few minutes when I finish this delivery," he called. "Oh, don't worry about me," said Johnny. "I'm just watching myself go rusty." "Bunch of goody-goodies," he muttered. Maybe the Z-stacks will be more useful." So when Zip appeared, Johnny yelled, "Oi, you there, give me a tow." I'm I'm too busy, Johnny. Ask Zoran, said Zip in a frightened voice. Johnny watched Zip move out of sight. I give up, he said. I could be here all day. I might as well get some sleep. He dozed off. As he slept, a long grey craft appeared on the horizon, heading towards Big City Port. A sudden noise made Johnny wake up. I suppose that's Bruno's. Eh? What's that? He said, catching sight of the strange shape approaching. As he watched, it disappeared, leaving only bubbles on the surface of the water. A submarine. But what was it doing on its way to the harbour? Johnny frowned. Bruno's inspection was in preparation for top-secret Navy vessels. Perhaps the sub was to let everyone know the ships were on their way. But Johnny couldn't understand why it had suddenly disappeared. He stared at where the sub had been. You'd never guess there'd been anything there at all. Then Johnny realized, it's a spy. Someone wants to know what these new ships are like. So they've sent in a spy. And with the customs launch and Bruno's at the inspection, there's no one to stop it, except me. In those days, only large liners like the Duchess had radios, so Johnny couldn't tell anyone else what was going on. Patiently, he waited for the sub to resurface. Meanwhile, in the harbour, Bruno's was about to begin his inspection. The new ships are most important. Top security is vital. Absolutely tip-top. Discipline. That's what the Navy is used to. And that's what we expect. Yes, Bruno's. Of course, Bruno's, sighed Captain Starr. Bruno's made a thorough inspection. He looked inside every warehouse, checked all the barges, and even wanted to have Wabi searched. Blinking cheek, said Wabi. Eventually, Bruno's was satisfied. The customs launch got away as soon as he could. Back in the estuary, the submarine had reappeared, and Johnny seized his chance. He revved up his engines and rammed the sub as hard as he could, driving it onto some sandbanks. Then the customs launch came past. "Hi there, mate," called Johnny. "Come and take a look here. This sub is a long way from home, and very interested in Bruno's ships, I reckon." A little later, Bruno's steamed by. "That's right, laddie," he said when he saw the customs lodge talking to Johnny Cuba. "Keep those ne'er-do-wells under control. Bit of discipline, that's what they need. Make 'em toe the line." Bruno's laughed loudly at his own joke. Johnny and the customs lodge grinned. "I never thought I'd say it, but thanks, Johnny," said the launch. "Bruno's would never believe it, even if I told him." "No problem," said Johnny. There's only room for one scoundrel around here, me. Now where's my toe? Treasure hunt. The Z-Stacks were very busy. Captain Zero's loud voice was full of greedy delight as he announced, "There's another big job tonight, lads. Some, pals of mine are sending up a ship to be unloaded. Very special cargo it is. Let's call it treasure, shall we? It's arriving at midnight from extra security, and it must be offloaded immediately. Zoran, you're in charge as usual. No mistakes, or there'll be trouble." The Z-Stacks looked at each other knowingly. The captain's less than honest friends quite often gave them jobs like this. Zip and Zug sighed wearily. Zoran told them off sharply. "Come on, you lazy lot. Don't think it's a holiday until that ship arrives tonight." Somehow, Zoran was much better at giving orders than doing jobs himself. This morning, however, he had something he wanted to do in person. The night before, a smallish cargo ship had got into trouble on the rocks in the estuary. By now, it would only be fit for salvage. First, he collected the wreck and brought it back to the harbour. Then he went to see Burke and Blair, the salvage dealers. "Right, Zoran," they said. "We'll be over tomorrow morning to collect her." At the end of a long day, the treasure ship arrived. The exhausted Z-Stacks worked for hours, and finally the job was finished. All except for a few crates, which they put on a barge next to the quay. "We'll do those in the morning," said Zoran bossily. "I've had enough." Next morning, rested and refueled, Zoran returned to the harbour. To his horror, he saw that the remaining crates of treasure were no longer there. Nor was the wreck he'd brought in from the estuary the day before. Zack was the only tug in sight. "Zack, you old fool, where have you put those crates on the barge? They belong to the ship that came in last night." "Burke and Blair picked up that wreck earlier and took them. No one told me." Zoran was furious. He rushed over to the salvage yard. Burke and Blair showed him the barge. Even though he didn't actually recognize the crates, Zoran grabbed them. After all, it had been very dark, and he'd been very tired when they were unloading. Back in the harbour, Zoran was shoving the crates onto the quayside when one fell over and broke open. It wasn't the treasure at all, but some old stores they had put out for rubbish collection. "I don't believe it," snarled Zoran. "Where are those rotten crates? If Captain Zero finds out I've messed up this job, my name will be mad," he said. He had to organize a proper search. The trouble was that the rest of the Z-Stacks were all busy that day. Out of the corner of his eye, Zoran spotted 10 cents. 10 cents was feeling rather low. The Z-Stacks had been getting all the big contracts lately, and he hated not being busy. When he saw Zoran backing him, his heart sank. "This'll be more of his showing off, I suppose," sighed 10 cents as he went over. 10 cents, said Zoran. "I'm in a bit of a fix. I wonder if you lot can help me." Zoran told 10 cents about the disappearing treasure crates. "What exactly is this treasure?" asked 10 cents. "Could be anything," Zoran smirked. "10 cents frowned. Zorn had got into this mess because he was too careless. Why should the TUGS help him? All right, Zorn, but on one condition. Make sure we get the jobs when you've got more work than you can handle. It's a deal. But of course, Zorn didn't intend to keep his promise. So as not to arouse Captain Zer's suspicion, Zorn searched their side of the harbor, while TUGS went to look everywhere else. First, 10 Cents and Big Mac tried the Municipal Waste Company in case the crates had been taken there by mistake, but nothing had arrived there for 2 days. Then they tried the warehouses and all along the quay. It wasn't very easy because Zorn couldn't really describe the treasure. The harbor was full of crates and they couldn't start opening all of them. This treasure hunt is too difficult, moaned Warrior. There aren't any clues. No luck, Zorn, said 10 Cents later. Are you sure you can't remember what the crates look like? If I could, I would tell you, idiot. It was the same with Burke and Blair this morning. All I could say was that they were the crates on the barge next to the wreck. It's them, cried 10 Cents. Don't you see? They probably took your rubbish and the treasure this morning. When you arrived and couldn't remember what you'd lost, they only gave you the old stores back. Time to pay Burke and Blair a visit. Let's see if we can jog their memory. When Big Mac arrived at Burke and Blair's yard, asking more questions about lost crates, they looked worried and remembered they'd got them after all. In fact, we were just going to contact Captain Zer about it. They grinned nervously at Big Mac. Well, you won't need to now, will you? I'll just take these things. Big Mac gave the crates to Zorn, who had waited in the harbor. He hated to admit it, but the TUGS had got him out of trouble. Well, thanks, boys, said Zorn. Of course I'd realized they must be with Burke and Blair myself. But I thought I'd let you take the credit for the detective work, seeing as you're having a difficult time right now, eh? 10 Cents opened his mouth to shout at Zorn, but was interrupted by Captain Zer's angry voice. Zorn, come here. Some of that, treasure's missing. Don't tell me you've lost it, you stupid tug. So the captain had found out after all. Zorn would have to do some very fast talking this time. Coming right away, Captain. I can explain everything. That'll teach him to be so high and mighty, said 10 Cents. He grinned at the others. Later Zorn came over, looking very surly. He scowled as he said, Our wonderful captain seems to think we need some help with 1 or 2 unimportant jobs. Any of you fellas free? So you're keeping your promise, Zorn, said 10 Cents. Zorn didn't say anything. He just scowled even harder. Hello everybody, the new storyteller here, and I've just read these TUGS Buzz books. There's only 1 to 4 of them. From kidnapped to treasure hunt, that's what I mean. In the last book, I found a word that was not supposed to be said the wrong way. The word is surly. if you can look it up in a book. Kidnapped and Treasure Hunt were brought from me in an op shop. I found the books that were on the right side in the interior of the op shop, and that's where I found them till it was changed to an updated version. The other books were brought from eBay. I may like to do some recreation and use the audio and more so as to make some remake episodes. What I meant is I thought I could make 14, 15, 16, and 17. The people who make TUGS for telly didn't think to make 17, nor have they thought about doing Series 2, making 4 episodes. Even doing that, 4 episodes are not enough. And you've already heard about the Star TUGS characters and Z-Stack's characters have been handled with care from Star TUGS Trust, a community that has these television character stars. Well, 2 characters are missing, like Top Hat and Grampus. Seem to be running out of things to say about these books. These books are in perfect condition, and I would say these were probably the late stories made in 1990. So, I'll be thinking of doing the new episodes that the television people of TUGS didn't think to do. Thanks for watching and listening, and goodbye.